The Centre for the Less Good Idea has announced that it has come out with a new project titled Happenstance, which is a multi-layered series of sound books created by award-winning bassist, composer and music producer Shane Cooper. Happenstance features an array of artists such as Zoe Modiga, Bokani Dyer, Sakhile Moleshe, Gontse Makhene, and Masina, Zayaan Khan, and a whole host of others. Now, this project is an explorative, original and newly created series in which much of the recording process is achieved by using a vintage reel-to-reel tape machine from the 1970s. But to tell us more, we're joined by Shane Cooper, who is the producer and creator of the Happenstance Project. Shane, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, South Africa. Thanks so much for having me.
Do take us through what Happenstance Project is in greater detail.
Just to simplify, first off, it's really like an invisible film, and there are four kind of parts to this film. The first one is called Static. It features an array of instruments, including cello, piano, a lot of traditional Southern African instruments like mouth bows and mbira instruments. The second episode is called Skins. It features a whole array of traditional Southern African percussion and drum sets and all sorts of other percussion, basses, a whole myriad of instruments played with the hands on the drums, things like that, instruments with skins. The third episode is called Tongues, and this features only the human voice. We've got Zoe Modiga, Sakhile Moleshe, and Masina. Every sound is made with the human voice. It's fantastic. And episode 4 is called Echo Tones, and that's coming out this week, so I won't give away too much yet. But each of these is really like a film soundtrack in immersive score without the visuals. So it's recommended to sit and just give it time, listen to it in its entirety. Each episode ranges in length from around 12 minutes to 20 minutes. So it's something of a beautiful experience, and I think it's really perfect for these times where the more kind of unique entertainment we can find to enjoy at home, the better, I think, You mentioned some of the big names in the industry, amazing artists, I should add. So what, were you looking for specific qualities from them, or you just needed to get them on board? The majority of these artists I have worked with before, and I selected them very carefully based on the fact that there would be a great chemistry amongst the artists involved in each individual episode. So, for example, in Tongues, we've got Zoe Modiga and Masina and Sakhile Moleshe, and they haven't worked together as a trio before, but I thought long and hard about the kind of chemistry and dynamics that they would bring to the project, and it far surpassed my expectations even. It was really magic to have them in the room. We had a very short amount of time together, so we had to maximize the creative potential, and I'm very happy with the results.
And how did your collaboration with the Centre for the Less Good Idea Academy come about?
They reached out to me to put together something in the audio sphere / podcast / sort of soundwalk sphere in a unique way, as well as launching the SO Academy, which is a very practical, hands-on academy where we had 3 amazing mentees that I mentored through the process, who also assisted with the process. So there were several sort of things going on parallel at the same time, but we really wanted to explore some of the creative potential with the limitations we've had during lockdown, where we couldn't put together a live performance with a big audience, for example. This is something that we could create for people to enjoy from home.
Shane, much of the recording process is achieved by using a vintage reel-to-reel tape machine from way back in the 1970s. Take us through that process.
Absolutely. So I was using these old reel-to-reels with magnetic tape on, and it's a fantastic machine. It's one that would have been used on a lot of old nature documentaries, a lot of National Geographic documentaries out in the field. It really sounds beautiful. Part of the reason I used it was because of the beautiful sound. It's got a very vintage, warm tone, which really suited the project, but also because it allowed us to break away from the digital, from using a laptop, which often gives you too many options. I wanted to simplify and really focus on the people in the room, focus on the creative energy amongst us, where I think the digital convenience of the modern era sometimes makes you expect to fix things later. We focused on the human craft and the human interaction, which was really special for me, considering that there were long periods this year with less sort of interaction amongst musicians. I wanted to really zone in on that and appreciate the human spirit more,
Did it not perhaps interfere with the quality of the sound, seeing that we are well into the digital age? I mean, the fusion of the digital age production with the vintage tape-to-tape reel, or reel-to-reel tape?
I think it was a marriage made in heaven because we did the initial recordings on the vintage tape. Then I took it back to the studio and combined it, as you say, in a hybrid format with the digital. And I was basically able to mix and match really what I consider the best qualities from both worlds. And the things that we took back from the digital in terms of sound quality are really special to me. They remind me of some of the earliest recordings that have this beautiful, luxurious, velveteen kind of tone to them, you know?
Okay. And just a quick one, on which platforms can people catch the project, and for how long is it running for?
So you can find them for the rest of time, hopefully. All 3 episodes that have launched thus far are available on YouTube. The best place to go is YouTube. Just look for the Center for the Less Good Idea, or look up Happenstance created by Shane Cooper, and all 3 episodes will come up. The 4th episode is coming out this Wednesday. And they're slowly being released on Apple Music and Spotify and those sort of streaming platforms as well. The first 2 are already there. So just look up Happenstance by Shane Cooper and they'll come up. And it's all for free online. So find the time and just sit down with a nice cup of tea and enjoy it from start to finish. It's the best way. With headphones if you can as well.
And speaking of cup of tea, and I'm sure that millions of our viewers are having a nice cup of tea. And we want you to play some sounds in the background as, just to play us out.
Great. Thanks so much, guys. And I hope you have a beautiful December wherever you are. Thank you for having me. Hey?
And thank you for chatting to us, Shane.
See you next time.
Let's take a look at the sports news now. Orlando Pirates have